welcome to What Remains of Edith Finch. What I think is a walking simulator that looks right up my alley and looks really good. Annoyingly enough, I played the first part and I had to crank down some settings because it was kind of, well, it wasn't killing my frame rate, but dipping my frame rate. And yeah, I know a bit about it, but it's a at least 90% blind let's play. I know some of the things that the game will be talking about due to trailers. Edith Finch, journal.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Well, it looks like this part just wants to wreck my frame rate. Fair enough, I guess I can crank the settings back up then. So, we are in a forest with a very peculiar house up ahead. Do we have legs? We have legs. You have
I lived
no
here
idea
until I
how.
was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Peculiar. Ooh, one of those flowers. Oh god, what are they called? I know what they are in Dutch. In Dutch it's vingerhoedskruid, but I have no idea what it's called in English. Oh, and by the way, don't put your finger in those. They are poisonous. Orcas Island Gazette.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Well, 7 years ago, yet it doesn't look like the place was.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Yet nobody took the house, and alright, so we have a brother who is dead. Luckily I can't relate to that. No trespassing. This property is protected by video surveillance. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Wires? I guess electrical wires.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Everything?
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
I guess it did. Ooh, 2 ways to go. The main path or the path through the forest.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
It is a very beautiful forest, and I would definitely, if I lived here, I would be walking so much outside. Missing Milton Finch. Oh god, I can't read that. Yes, I'm also kind of testing out all the buttons. Sue me. There are a lot of buttons for zooming in.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
I guess slightly more plants on it, although who knows. Christ, that is strange. I mean, it's just a normal house mostly, but then building room upon room on top of it.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
I guess it's because it's so strange and parts of it don't mix. Not really. Is the same person missing? Guess so. Okay, so they were definitely looking for
Now, as a
missing person.
17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house. I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Lots of books and an electric chair to get up, so I guess the house was... I mean, at least one old person lived in it. Okay, so we have somebody, at least one person in this house was wheelchair bound. I'm so happy that our house doesn't have something like that, because, oh god, this will be... Oh Christ. Yeah, that little gap will be such a nightmare for getting up on it with a wheelchair. Yeah, I'm not in a wheelchair myself, but my disabled brother, well, is. Winds... Oh, yeah, that thing. So, and also a lake nearby. So how do we get in?
I heard something moving around in the garage.
Somebody's still here?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Yeah, stuff like that happens. And no, I personally did not crawl through doggy doors, because, well, we don't have a dog. But, well, with a disabled brother and a little brother, you definitely getting inside a car where you had to sit in the middle of two very large chairs was always a fun little challenge, but yeah, it made me quite nimble and able to get through relatively small stuff.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
It's a nice looking home. I mean, there's something not quite normal about it. I mean, I want the excessive amount of books, seriously. But it's a really nice looking home. Food.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
A ton of canned food, just...
Like how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Memories. Such a fun thing, and something I somewhat rarely get to enjoy because my memory is so horrible. But random memories like this I sometimes have. Just how many books?
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
So, everybody just left the house one day, or everybody who was left the house one day. Alright, so wheelchair. That is a bad wheelchair. You see, normal wheelchairs have just 2 of those small tires and then 2 very large ones. This has 2 pros. One, those large ones are way better in getting over stuff. You'll get stuck less easily. And 2, you'll be able to drive the wheelchair yourself if you're in it. And also, what is this gas can? Why is there a massive gas can with something flammable in it? Were they cooking something on that? Yeah. And so, Eddie was in a wheelchair. Okay, so they did have modern stuff too. Because, well, a stereo that has...
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of books, it's
Even
insane.
the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
The house sank. How on earth does that work? Oh, and by the way, if you were expecting me to move really fast, well, welcome to my channel. So you have pictures also from over all ages. Not just people of all ages, but just very modern, with very good cameras, and older ones, and ones with that didn't even have real color. So I guess that's the old house? The house that sank? I mean, this, to me, it looks like a relatively normal living room, because our living room looks something like this. But yeah, there is a lot of house.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
So, Great-Grandpa Sven built his house. All of it. Barbara Finch. That is a massively,
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
probably not literally, but more in the... all of their stories are here. And I guess they did not want people to get in here anymore. Just... it's very sealed off. Yeah, it's a normal lock. Not one of those locks where you don't need a key on the inside.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Milton Finch. Yeah, this definitely is a later addition to the house. Practice goes see Pacific Coast seafood, from cove to stove, holiday feast. Christ, these are all cookbooks. The Big Book of House Schooling, The Curse, and The Wise Woman, Book of Wonder.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Just all the rooms. Sven and Eddie.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Sven Hofstad Finch. 1915, 1964. That is very young. That's 39. And Eddie? Christ, 13. Calvin and Sam. Kelvin. 1950, 1961. 11.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Oh, they wanted to preserve his memory so bad that they put a line in it and everything, just nobody could touch his stuff. They could not move on. Gregory, 1976, 1977. Just made a year, maybe.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
This is a bathroom. A dreamer still. 100 years of solitude. Internet just so many books, so many titles to read, and I'm not going to read all of them. Oh, we have something light up. In the basement. Great. Barbara. 1944 till 1960. 16 years.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
So, Edith has already outlived, basically lived, at this point lived longer than half the family we know of.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Just everything in this house is locked. Let's take a look here first. Molly. 1937, 1947. 10 years.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
One room that was not bolted up. Let's see.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Would this be it? It is.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Chapter 1. There on it. The runaway reef?
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Small rooms.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
People rarely do.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
So this was the 10-year-old
Just like
girl,
I had no
think.
idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly's room.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
This is the first
Molly's
time
gerbil
we're
had a
in-
tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
It's the place you have always seen, but were never there. That must be insane to just to walk in here then. Ant farm, which is, I guess life in there died off years ago. December 1947. The year that basically this room stopped.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here, before my mom sealed the doors.
I doubt it. Edie was the one that was in the wheelchair, wasn't he? I mean, I guess it could have happened later, but still. Odd. Edith Finch.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Wait, a kid that know she'll be gone soon? And yeah, just a night dress. By the way, I really like how the size changes.
I kept eating and eating.
Oh. No, kid, just no. What? Those berries? You die, but I guess that.
I ate a lot of things that night.
So she just accidentally
Then I heard
poisons
chirping
herself.
outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Okay.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Okay, so I guess the cat has a has cat eye have a.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
I mean, if you are just a cat, then why would they? Oh yeah, cat, so of course you can just land on the tiniest things. Are you going to be
I
able to
jumped
make
and I almost
this?
got her.
So, dream? I guess that's the only thing that would make sense.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
What, the bird? And who does this treehouse belong to?
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Where is the mama bird? Oh. Up there.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Okay, this is really cool.
Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
So I guess these are the dreams you would have when you were
A mama rabbit.
in the process of
She was
starving.
almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Okay, shark. Okay, this ain't exactly majestic.
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Oh, okay.
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
So I guess these are the dreams that a starving child might have. Just
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
octopus. Okay.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
This is definitely very cool, but also so strange. I can't explain how this plays.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Okay. Because you control the tip of the tip of the arm. So do the drunken sailor. Right, so this is a bit dark, even for a fantasy. I mean, I'm personally pretty familiar with dark fantasies, but
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
okay. We are now going up to the toilets. Okay.
I got closer and closer.
This is her room, isn't it? Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that, yeah, when you are starving, your body will start to break down itself, but is this a metaphor for that?
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
What the hell?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Oh. Edie, where is... I mean, I see him on the family tree, but I don't see... I mean, he doesn't seem to really basically be a part of the family tree or something. So...
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Well, the room didn't change over all those years, so yeah. I think she... I mean, her touch is still basically the last thing on this room. I mean, Edie might have been in here. Yeah, let's not walk over that, shall we? So yeah, we had the first death of the Finch family. The family who seemed to never live long, and I think this one, I seriously believe that this one died of starvation. So yeah, with that happy thoughts, see you in the next one.